Imagine a peaceful day at your lake cabin. Then, an HOA Karen calls 911 because you refuse to leave. She had no idea you own the entire county. Asterisk understood. An 8-minute script requires significant expansion of the story, adding more detail, more emotional depth, and more interactions. I'll maintain the simple language and short sentences, while building out each section to fill the longer duration. Here's an expanded script for HOA Karen called 911 when I refused to leave my lake cabin. Didn't know I own the whole county. Imagine a truly perfect day, the kind you dream about all winter. The sun was warm, but not too hot. A gentle breeze rustled through the trees. You were at your lake cabin, your personal slice of heaven. It's a quiet, secluded spot. The water shimmered softly. You heard birds singing, just the gentle lapping of waves against the shore. This cabin, this land, it's been in your family for generations. A true legacy. It's where you go to unwind, to escape the noise of the city, to feel truly free. You were just enjoying a peaceful afternoon, reading a book, sipping a cool drink. Total bliss. But bliss, it turns out, can be very fragile. Trouble was brewing. It wasn't a storm on the horizon. It came in the form of an HOA Karen. You saw her approaching from a distance. She was walking with a very determined stride. Her face was already set in a grim expression. Even from far away, you could feel the tension. You knew immediately this wasn't going to be a friendly chat. She wasn't just passing by. She was coming directly for you. She walked right up to the edge of your property. Her eyes scanned everything. She looked angry, annoyed, as if your very presence was an insult. "What do you think you're doing here?" she snapped. Her voice was sharp, full of accusation. "You need to leave. This property belongs to the homeowners association. You are trespassing." You were genuinely confused. This was your property. You'd owned this land for years. This cabin was bought and paid for. Your family had deep roots here. You tried to explain. You pointed to the cabin. "Ma'am," you began calmly, "this is my private property. I own this land." But Karen wasn't listening. Not even a little bit. Her face hardened. "Don't you lie to me," she practically shrieked. Her voice echoed over the quiet lake. "I know for a fact this land is common property. You're trying to sneak in here. You're violating every rule in the book." You tried again. You explained about your family, about the long history. You even offered to show her proof. "I have the deeds. I have all the legal documents," you offered. Politely. You just wanted her to understand. You wanted her to leave you alone. But Karen became absolutely furious. She wouldn't listen to reason. She wouldn't look at anything. She just kept shaking her head. Her face was red with anger. Then, she pulled out her phone. Her hand was trembling slightly. Not from fear, but from pure rage. "I am calling the police," she announced loudly. "Right now? You are breaking the law. You are a menace." You honestly couldn't believe it. She actually dialed 911 right there. On your property. She started speaking into the phone. Her voice was high-pitched and frantic. "Yes, hello? I have a trespasser here. He's refusing to leave. He's being aggressive. He's claiming he owns land that clearly belongs to the HOA." She rattled off your location. She exaggerated everything. She painted you as a dangerous criminal. You just stood there, calm, unmoving. You knew you were right. You knew the truth. There was no reason to panic. No reason to argue further with her. Just wait. Let the actual authorities handle it. It felt like forever, but soon, you heard sirens in the distance. They grew louder. Police cars arrived. 2 of them. Red and blue lights flashed through the trees. They pulled up right near your cabin. Officers stepped out. They approached cautiously. Karen immediately rushed towards them. She started talking a mile a minute. "Officers, thank goodness you're here. This man is a menace. He's been trespassing on HOA property. He won't leave. He even tried to intimidate me." She pointed dramatically at you. She made you sound like a hardened criminal. The officers listened patiently to her wild story. They nodded. They took notes. Then, they turned to you. Their faces were neutral, professional. "Sir," one officer began, "could you tell us what's going on from your perspective?" You calmly explained the situation. You told them you owned the cabin. You told them you owned the land it sat on. You told them it had been in your family for generations. You then reached into your bag. You pulled out a very thick folder. It contained all the legal documents, the deeds, the property lines, the old land grants. You handed them over. The officers took the folder. They started to review the documents. They flipped through the pages carefully as they read. Their expressions slowly changed. Their eyes widened. They looked at each other. Then, they looked back at the documents. Finally, they looked at Karen. The first officer cleared his throat. He looked directly at Karen. "Ma'am," he said, his voice very calm, very clear. "It appears there's been a misunderstanding." Karen looked smug. She probably thought he was about to arrest you. But then he continued. "According to these official documents, this gentleman doesn't just own this cabin. He owns this entire lakefront area. In fact," he paused and then delivered the bombshell, "he owns a significant portion of this entire county." Karen's jaw dropped. It hung open. She went completely silent. The smug look vanished instantly. Her face turned a deep, burning red. She looked from the officer to you. Her eyes were wide with shock, disbelief, humiliation. She tried to say something. No words came out. She just made a strange gurgling sound. All her certainty, all her outrage, evaporated in an instant. She looked utterly defeated. The air hung, heavy with her sudden silence. The officers calmly explained the truth to her. They showed her specific lines on the maps. They pointed out the boundaries in the deeds. They made it perfectly clear. This was private land, not HOA property. They told her she was mistaken. They told her she needed to leave, and not to come back. Karen slowly, reluctantly, walked away. Her shoulders slumped. Her head was down. Her face was still bright red. She didn't say another word. She just shuffled back towards wherever she came from. The officers watched her go. Then, they turned back to you. They apologized for the disturbance. They wished you a good day. They even smiled slightly. You felt a mix of profound relief and, also, a good deal of amusement. It was quite an afternoon. Your peaceful day was definitely interrupted, but it ended with a very clear victory. It was a stark reminder. Some people just assume. They jump to conclusions. They act entitled. They never truly learn. But today, HOA Karen learned a very, very big lesson. A lesson she won't soon forget. So, the next time you think you know it all, maybe pause. Never assume you know everything, especially about someone's property. Always get the facts first, because you never know who you're really dealing with. They might just own the whole county. Have you ever met an HOA Karen? Or someone who just assumed they were right? Tell us your story in the comments below. We'd love to hear about your encounters.